Thank you, Katie. New tonight at 5, a desperate crisis at our local shelters after a 4th of July influx.
The Riverside County Department of Animal Services says its capacity is about critical levels after shelters took in more than 200 animals over the long holiday weekend.
News Channel 3's Tori King spoke with officials and has the latest numbers tonight. Tori.
Well, this is, of course, a story we talk about every year. We spent the week leading up to this, warning people about this, but of course, animals do tend to get out when they're scared. I'm told this kind of crisis once again happens every year, especially on the days after the 4th of July. Despite those constant warnings and pleadings from those shelters, hundreds of animals still managed to wind up impounded after getting loose or escaping. Now, handlers and volunteers are working around the clock to reunite some of these pets with their owners and also clear up some much-needed kennel space for future intakes.
Even with years in the past, we just get a ton of impounds in.
Packed kennels, each one filled with 2 to 3 dogs or cats. Local animal shelters are working to find the owners of hundreds of runaway or stray animals that were taken in over the Independence Day weekend. Every year, the 4th of July sees the highest number of runaway pets out of all of the holidays. And this year was no different, according to the Riverside County Department of Animal Services.
We see that every year, especially with us dealing with overcrowding prior to the 4th of July. This really put us in a crisis mode.
Officials confirmed its 4 shelters took in hundreds of animals between the 4th of July and the 6th, many of them likely runaways who escaped during fireworks celebrations.
I think a lot of it has to do with all the noise that is made. I think that has a huge factor to play in with animals, whether it's escaping or jumping their fence.
I went to the Coachella Valley Animal Campus to get an official breakdown of this year's numbers. Between the 4th and the 6th alone, the shelters took in 240 animals. 184 of them, or 75%, were dogs. By Tuesday, only 25 pets have been reunited with their owners. That's just 10% of all animals impounded. The shelter also says every animal that has been returned so far had some sort of identification, whether it be a collar, ID tag, or a microchip.
With animals that they find out in the field, they definitely do their best to scan them for chips, get owner information, and try and reunite them prior to impound.
King, a dog who got out during the fireworks, was able to be reunited with its owner thanks to microchipping technology, a life-saving tool that makes identification as simple as waving a wand.
It's definitely a warming feeling when you see the pet's reaction when it sees their owner and they get all excited. So it's in the best interest of the pet to find their owners and get them back home safely.
By the way, all reclaiming fees have been waived this year. If you did miss a pet, just head to the shelters and check it out. RCDAS is urgently asking the community to step up and adopt as well, with the influx of animals pushing the shelter's capacity to those critical overcrowding levels. If you're interested in adopting a pet, you can find more information at KESQ.com. Live in studio, Tori King, News Channel 3.
Thank you, Tori.